Hello friends, how are you? So I hope you all are enjoying these lectures, right? So we have covered our chapter number 1, that is basics of costing, and in this lecture we are starting with our second chapter. This is chapter number 2, that is material costing. Now this is the most important chapter, right? So a question will definitely be asked from material costing. I'll keep marking all the important topics from where the questions are often asked, right? But the question will definitely be asked, that is one thing for sure. So this is one of the most important chapters, right? So let's start with that. Sorry, this is chapter number, yes, chapter number 2, material costing. One was basics of costing, second is material costing. So all those having the handbooks, they should keep the handbooks ready with them, right? And keep your notebooks also. If you have the handbooks, you don't have to write majority of the things, right? I'll let you know where you have to write the things. Okay, so let's see what we are going to study in this chapter, that is material costing. Material constitutes an important part of the cost of finished product. Like I told you in the last lecture when we discussed about the elements of the cost, I told you the most important element is material. Why, sir? Because without material we cannot construct a house, without material we cannot make a shirt, right? So we can't do anything without the material. Material here means the raw material, right? Material here means raw material, sir. So if we talk about the material, by material I mean raw material, sir. Okay. Now, in this chapter, we will consider only the direct material cost. Now, what is a direct cost? Have we studied about the direct cost? Yes, sir. We studied in the last lecture. Sir, what is a direct cost? Direct cost is any cost which can be identified in one unit of the finished product, right? So when we talk about material costing chapter, we'll discuss only about the direct material cost, right? Sir, why not about the indirect material cost? If you remember that elements of cost, if you have drawn that diagram in your books also, in that I told you that all the indirect cost is known as overheads, right? And we have a separate chapter on overhead costing. So if we talk about the indirect material cost, that we will discuss in the overhead costing chapter. In this chapter, in the chapter of material costing, we will only and only talk about the direct material. Direct material means the cost of those materials which can be identified in one unit of the finished product. Like in the last lecture, I gave you the example of, the buttons and the cloth while making the shirt that you can identify, right? That is my direct material. Raw material. Clear? Now, why is it important to study material cost, sir? Can you think of some reasons why is it important to study about the material cost? Just as a layman, consider a very simple situation in your home, right? In every home, we use the potatoes in the kitchen are used, right? Your mom cooks potatoes and it is one of the favorite, I can say the food for everyone. Potatoes. So when we are hungry, mom, please make potato chips na, right? Anything vegetable, your mother will ask you what you want to have for the lunch. Potatoes. For the dinner, potatoes. For the breakfast, potatoes, right? So we all love potatoes. So say your monthly consumption of potatoes is 10 kg. Your monthly consumption, okay, we'll take an example here. Say your monthly consumption of potatoes is 10 kg. Now what will happen at the start of the month, at the beginning of the month, your mother will plan for this quantity. If your consumption is 10 kg, then it might increase if you have some guest during a particular month, right? Or it might decrease. Or what can be the reasons for the decrease? So there is some festival during that particular month for which we have to keep the fasts for 6-7 days, right? So in that particular month, this consumption can decrease, sir. Or you are out of the city, you went to the hill station, you went to on the holidays, right? In that particular month, your consumption of the potatoes will decrease. So your mother have to plan everything in advance, isn't it? Now, consider two situations. If your mother knows that the monthly consumption is 10 kg, but she orders only 5 kg for the month. She says, we'll keep only 5 kg for the month stock. Now, what will happen? Sir, you will not get to eat the potatoes. Isn't it? That is the situation. Now, consider the second situation. This is the first situation when your mother says that we will have only 5 kg for the month. In that particular month, what will you do? Sir, you will not get the potatoes to eat. Very simple. You will have to eat other vegetables which you even don't like. Isn't it? Now, consider the second situation. Sir, in the second situation, what will happen? Your mother knows that the monthly consumption is 10 kg, but she orders 20 kg. Now, what will happen? Now, consider this situation if your mother keeps 20 kgs. So, two problems here. One, where will you keep that 10 kg extra? That is the storage problem. First problem is the storage problem. Obviously, you will have to keep that extra 10 kg somewhere, na? Right? So that will create a storage problem. What will be the second problem? There are chances of your potatoes getting destroyed. Right? Potatoes getting destroyed by something. Right? There is rain or something, you kept it outside. So that can be the case. So what should be the proper level? That is why we are studying this material costing. There should neither be a stock out situation, right? You have to keep the optimal quantity of the potatoes in the kitchen so that you don't have to miss out on eating these potatoes, or you should not have the excessive quantities of the potatoes which will create these problems. Clear? So these similar situations appear for the business also. When planning about the raw material, they have to keep the optimum quantities of the raw material so that there is neither the shortage of the raw material nor excessive raw material. Let's try to understand. There should not be a situation of material stock out. Otherwise, the production of the finished product will suffer. What will happen? If your potato stock is stock out, you won't get to eat the potatoes, isn't it? Your productivity will be low. Similarly, for the business, the production of the finished product will suffer if the raw material is out of stock. If you don't have the raw material to make the product, it is in shortage. Obviously, how can you make the finished product, sir? You won't be able to complete your orders in time. That may result in the loss of customers also, right? The second condition is there should not be excessive storage of material, because that will increase our carrying cost, which means the cost of keeping the goods in the store, right? What it means, say you have 20 kg potatoes, right? 10 kg is already, you have the storage of 10 kg. Now what will happen? For that extra 10 kg, you will buy another drum or so. That will increase what? That will increase your cost, na? You have to buy an extra refrigerator. You have to buy an extra drum for keeping that 10 kg so that they don't get destroyed. Isn't it? That will increase your carrying cost. That will increase your cost basically. What is carrying cost? I'll come to that later on. Right? That will increase your cost because you have to buy something new to keep that extra 10 kg. There are also chances of material getting destroyed. So this is what I told you, the two problems. Try to minimize the material cost. Make purchasing decisions efficiently at the right time, with the right quantity and with the right people. So you have to make the decisions very diligently so that you order the things at the right time when they are required, in the right quantities, so that there is neither a stock out situation nor the excessive stock situation, and with the right people. Obviously, the one who will provide you with the better quality at the better rates, you will buy from that. Isn't it? Say you go to a market, a phone market, to buy an iPhone, right? You will check out 10 or 12 shops before buy an iPhone. Why, sir? Because you will try to find out the one who is providing you the best offer, right? One says, I'll provide you this. One says, I'll provide you the cover with this. One says, I'll provide you the headphones with this, free of cost. Isn't it? Such things happen. Right? So that is with the right people. Wastages in the production process should be minimized. Obviously, sir, the wastages should be minimized, right? So these are the few reasons why we are studying this chapter of material costing. Okay. Now, Again, a very important topic, material procurement procedure. These all are for the understanding. These are for your base, right? And these are very, very important for the base. Now, let's talk about the material procurement procedure. What will happen? Let's take a very simple example. Again, from your home, your sister decides to make your birthday cake. Very good, sir. Because during the pandemics, we are not, buying anything from the market, and we are trying to make everything at home. So during the pandemic, when it was a lockdown period, most of the people were busy with what? They were busy with the cooking, isn't it? You must have seen lot of videos on the YouTube, on TikTok, and everywhere. Lot of people were busy in their kitchen, right? Now during this period, your sister wants to make a cake. Now, what she will do for making a cake? First of all, she will get a recipe from internet. She will get a recipe from internet, right? Now, what is given in that recipe, sir? What is given in that recipe? This recipe contains that for making 1 kg cake, for this recipe defines that for making 1 kg cake, how much of raw material is required? How much of raw material is required? Sir, what is the raw material for making the cake? It can be flour, right? It can be what you call it as vanilla essence, also vanilla essence, or you can say the chocolate powder, and etc, 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 right? Ask your sister or ask your mother about this, right? So this is the first step. What she did, she prepared a recipe. She took out the printout from the internet about the recipe, and when you checked out this recipe, it shows that for making 1 kg cake, what are the raw materials required? Now this recipe is called as what? This recipe is called as, in the business language, in the material costing chapter language, this recipe is known as bill of material. Okay, let's read. What is bill of material? It is a list of raw materials required for the production of the finished product. This is what I told you. It is a list of raw materials required for making a finished product. Finished product is what? A cake. In this, we define the standard quantities of the raw material required to produce a unit of finished product. That if we want to produce 1 unit of the finished product, what are the standard quantities of the raw material that are being used? That should be used. Okay. For example, in making of 1 piece of shirt, how much cloth is required and how many buttons are required will be defined in the bill of material. So these are the standards being set. Okay. That in making 1 unit of the finished product, what is the standard quantity of the raw material that should be used, that is generally used and that should be used. Okay. Preparation of bill of material is the job of planning department. Now, I told you what? Your sister is planning to make a cake, right? Your sister is planning. Your sister is planning to make a cake. So the planning department belongs to your sister, right? She will take out the printout of the recipe and everything, isn't it? Right? So bill of material is the job of planning department, which will then be sent to the production department. I'll come to that, right? In a short, we can say it is the recipe for making a finished product, right? So that's why I took that example to make you understand what do you mean by bill of material. Clear? Any doubts up till this point? Right. Now, what happens next? Next, your sister goes to your mother. She approaches your mother, that mother, I want to make a cake for the brother's birthday or the sister's birthday, right? This is the recipe. This is the bill of material, that these are my requirements of the raw material, right? So this is the requirement of my raw material. Now your mother is the production department. Obviously, your mother will help in the production of this cake. So your mother is the production department. So what happened here? The planning department goes to the production department. Let's see. Production department, on receiving bill of material, will identify its total raw material requirement for production of finished product. Now what happens? Your mother, on receiving this paper of recipe, she will identify what is the total requirement, how much of the flour is required, and what all ingredients are required. Now mother will try to assess what is the total requirement. Okay. Next, this raw material requirement they will send to the storekeeper where all the raw material is kept. Now what will happen? Your mother is the storekeeper also. Your mother is the production department. Your mother is the storekeeper also. She will go to the kitchen. She will go to the kitchen and she will identify what all ingredients are already available in the store. That is the kitchen. Isn't it? She will try to first find out what all ingredients can be managed from the home. So she is the storekeeper also, right? First, the planning department sends the bill of material to the production department. Then production department will send that paper to the storekeeper, who will try to find out what all raw material is already there. This is known as material requisition, right? When the requirement is sent to the storekeeper that yes, we need this much of raw material for making the product, is it available in the store or not, right? This is called material requisition. Now, based on this requisition, the storekeeper will check whether they have the required material in the required quantities or have to purchase it new. That's what I told you, that your mother will check in the store, that is the kitchen, that what all ingredients are already available and what is to be bought new, right? After this, what will happen, sir? After this, your duty will be assigned. The cake is being made for your birthday and you will have to arrange for the ingredients. See the funny side of it? You will have to arrange for the ingredients for your own cake, for your own birthday cake, isn't it? Okay. Let's see the whole procedure. Planning department prepares the bill of material, right? The bill of material goes to the production department. Now production department goes to the store and asks for the material, that is known as material requisition. Now material requisition goes to the storekeeper. The storekeeper will check the availability of material, right? If the material is available, he will provide it, or if the material is not available, he will give it. The purchase requisition will be raised and given to the purchase department that this is the requirement of production department. Say production department says, I need 1000 pieces of the raw material. The storekeeper will say, I have only 400 pieces. Please, he will raise the purchase requisition for 600 pieces. Okay. That 600 more pieces are required. He will send it to the purchase department. See all these, that is why in the big factories, if you have seen, all these departments are divided for this purpose only, right? They have to check. First, the planning department will prepare, then send to the production department. The production department will assess the total raw material requirement, right? This assessment will then be sent to the storekeeper to check whether they have the raw material or not. Storekeeper will check it, and if the raw material is available, he will provide the raw material to the production department. If the raw material is not available, he will raise a purchase requisition and send it to purchase department that, sir, we need this raw material, please send it to us. Okay. So this is the basic of material costing. Okay. Why we are studying material costing? See, I told you this is one of the most important chapters. That's why I told you why we are studying this material costing. Sometimes a short note on bill of material is can be asked in the examination, right? So all those having the handbooks, they can read it from there. No need to write anything, right? I have given everything in the handbooks in detail. This is just a short part of it. In the handbooks, you're given everything in detail. You can read it from the theory part also, additional theory part at the back of the chapter, okay? So this is material requisition, then the purchase requisition. This is the whole process, right? So this is about the basics of material costing. Now in the next lecture, we'll start with the most important topic, a numerical topic, right? Till now, we have been doing only the theoretical concepts. Now we'll be moving on to the numerical concepts, setting up of the various stock levels and And sir, 99% of the time in the examination you will get a question from this topic. 99% time I'm saying you will get a question from this topic, that is setting of various stock levels. Very important topic, right? So the next lecture is going to be very, very important. Listen to it carefully, stay tuned, share with the maximum people. See you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.